How long were you associated with Savannah State University?
I am now in my 25th year. Came here September 1989 from Manhattan, New York, after having been employed at the U.S. Bureau of Census in New York for 2 years.
2 years. Was it your initial plan to move to Savannah?
No, it was not my initial plan. My initial plan was to leave New York and go back to a position I held at the University of the Virgin Islands. But a friend of mine who taught at the Virgin Islands came to Savannah State, asked me would I be interested in coming to join him to help build a Master Post Administration program. I told him yes, and he called me and I came down with my interview, and the rest is history. I've been here ever since.
Oh, so you enjoy Savannah State a lot.
I enjoy Savannah State a lot.
How has Savannah State grown in the past 25 years as far as campus life and students?
Savannah State has gone through several different kinds of metamorphoses. When I came here, the campus was more, was nowhere near modernized as it is today. But in some ways, it was really more user friendly in 1989 than it is today, because people were more actively involved in outdoor life, in the plaza, mingling with each other, going to lunch together, having all different kinds of camaraderie between the students and the faculty. Whereas now, in 15, 20 years later, it has become more, more sanitized. People pretty much in their own space, and they don't really do as much interacting as they did back in the day.
What type of things would you like to change about the university to make it more useful, or that would make it more successful for people that's from the urban community?
I would like to see a greater connection between the town and the gown. I would like to see more interaction between the university and the community at all levels, because ultimately the university is nothing but a microcosm of the larger community at large. And so I think the more connection, more connectivity there is between the two, then the greater the investment that people in the community will make, and I think the more useful it will be for everybody in the end.
Okay, throughout your 25 years, what would you say would be the highest point in your, career as a professor, and just being around Savannah State and the community? Like, what would you say that you would say is the highest point or thing you have witnessed that you would say, I'm glad I was here to see that, or your lowest?
That's a difficult question. I think there have been a lot of highs. To me, the greatest joy I get is for seeing students that I have taught over the years, to finally come to me and say that they are graduating and moving on to a new endeavors of life. And so to me, every year there's another high. I don't know if I can cite one specific instance, whereas I can just say, wow, this was really great to be around. If I did, it would probably be in the area of athletics rather than, unfortunately, in academics. I came here during the heyday, during the Shannon Sharpe and Richard Bailey years, when those were the glory days in football. And I think, great football is good for any university that got an athletic program. And I'd like to see our football program get back to that level, because I thought that's the way it was supposed to be, that we're supposed to go 10-1, rather than 0-12. And Shannon and those guys were like the ultimate professionals, and I guess I got kind of spoiled.
Do you attend any of the games still?
I attend as many games as I can. I love athletics. I love sports. I love to be around young people, and that kind of gives me my youth.
Okay. Students that you've taught in the past, do they any of them come back to speak to any of your classes or say how thankful they were for taking you as a professor?
Surprisingly, not a great number, but a few do from time to time. There have been some students who remain with me for the last 25 years, and there are others that I couldn't even be able to contact today if I wanted to. But it always makes any professor feel good when students that they've taught drop a line, or send an email, message, or text, and let them know how they're doing, and that they let me know that I had some small role to play in their total professional development, as a human being, and that really gives me my thrill.
Being a professor at a black university, predominantly black university, how do you feel about all the police brutality on black males today? Like, how do you think that we could come together as a university or a community to help fight the cause?
That is one of the most disturbing and one of the most deplorable acts that I've experienced. Now that is one of the all-time lows in my life, to see African American people, particularly African American males, get shot down, choked and strangled in broad daylight. But I believe that it has to be a cultural change from within our own people first. We first of all have to demonstrate the willingness to believe that black life is more valuable than that, and start maiming and murdering and killing ourselves. Then I think it will really make our argument even give it greater effect when we basically protest about police officers outside our community who basically take the lives of our people for no reason. But at first, I think it has to start at home. Charity begins at home and spreads abroad. We have to show that we love each other, that we have pride, that we have support and admiration for our own culture and race and people, and then demand that the same thing be done from other people as well.
Okay. How much longer do you feel that you would be a professor here at Savannah State?
I will be a professor as long as I'm able to walk and teach and talk. Maybe not really. Maybe I'm being a little bit, untruthful, but I enjoy what I do. And when you enjoy what you do, you don't really put no limitations on time. So I wouldn't like to say 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but somewhere in that area, 4 or 5 years, probably I would probably have to ride out in the sunset. You don't want to reach a point where you have outlived your usefulness. So as long as I can remain effective, and as long as I can continue to have some impact to play in the personal, professional, and social development of young people, I will remain in the classroom.
Okay. How much time is on that?
So
7 minutes.